Hi, and welcome to episode 12 of Red True Diaries. This is an extra special diary from late fall of the year 2000. A friend of mine gave it to me for, I don't know, Christmas or birthday. And this is Love Letters to Myself, which I highly recommend everyone writing at least one in their lifetime. It's pretty awesome. So I started off with either something I wrote or put in here, so something aside from here, but it opens with, I love you as you love me, totally and easily. I love you as you love me, completely, unconditionally. I love you as you love me, wildly and freely. I love you as you love me, 'cause I am you and you are me. And on that note of us being each other's caretakers, looking out after one another, different aspects of each other in a universal sense, and tonight we're going to get spiritual, not religious, but I'm going to touch on some religions because I do think that religious upbringing can taint people's feelings towards sexuality and masturbation in so many ways. So, say even gender equality, something, that we just take for granted and don't stop and take a lot of time to think about. And I grew up Lutheran, though, so hesitating because I was born Catholic, actually, baptized Catholic. At 2 years old, and I grew up Lutheran, and it was around 16 years old when I started reading more about Greek mythology and thinking, well, these people believed wholeheartedly what they did, and now we look at it as myth, so who's to say that other people don't look at my religion as a myth? And I started exploring and learning about other religions, and it really put me on the path of, say, with Joseph Campbell's following your bliss. I started really getting into wanting my own direct experience of God, and I indeed got it and get it, and I'm helping to help other people get it in their own unique ways. So one thing I didn't feel growing up, however, is bad about masturbating or having orgasms or being sexual. I felt that as long as it was in a loving way, what was wrong with it? I didn't think that God or Jesus, whom I identify with at that time in terms of my direct human link to, have an idea of what was right or wrong. So I had a very healthy attitude in terms of a sexual relationship with myself, but I've learned that a lot of other people don't. And the research that's being done now, and I'm about to have this paper to cite an article I recently mentioned, the research that's being done in terms of how orgasms can help counteract pain, anxiety, depression. I'm trying to think I believe insomnia. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. All kinds of, say, negative things, but the key things are pain and anxiety and depression. So the article is by Rowan Pelling. She was the first British woman to have an orgasm under MRI so that this doctor, Dr. Barry Kamasarik of Rutgers University, could study what happened in her brain at orgasm. He had done a bunch of studies on American women and found that there was more oxygen that was produced all over the brain, maybe not just produced, that was carried, more blood flow, more oxygen and more nutrients from the blood flow that was a result of the orgasms, and that basically it's very good for our brain, that the studies suggest that it will help us with our memory, help us with, like I said, anxiety, depression. What was the other one, right? Maybe I need to have an orgasm to help with my memory. I think just brain function in general. The author actually took a test afterward. I think it was a crossword puzzle that was normally very hard for her, and found that she did exceptionally well. She had 2 orgasms under this study, and these are things that, I mean, imagine, you know, having an orgasm in an MRI setting, but these are the types of things that I'm hoping will encourage women to explore for ourselves and not put it off. One of the reasons I'm making the time for these videos every day, that's a serious commitment. Again, it's interesting and it can be fun, but let me tell you, there are some days already, and I'm only on day 12, where I'm like, man, okay, I still need to do this. But it's important to me because just like making that time for ourselves, and I feel like that's the biggest thing when I ask the different women I'm encountering, because I'm asking more. So when's the last time you've had an orgasm, or how do you feel in terms of being sexually fulfilled on your own and with your partner? And I will say, from the personal statistics or this personal research that I'm doing, the statistics aren't so good. Even those people that I know who are having sex aren't really fulfilled. The women specifically aren't fulfilled, and many aren't having orgasms on their own, and as well as not with their partner. So these things are making them more aware and doing, you know, making them change some habits, because that's what a lot of it is about, making this more of a normal part of your life, checking in with your sexual satisfaction, because it carries over. It's not just a physical thing, and especially for women. And I do focus more on women because we do tend to be more neglected by men, by society. And as an email I got from a woman today, she said, you know, she writes erotica, and she said, yeah, it's, you know, it's not very common for guys to take these things seriously or as important, or really take the time to get to know a woman. And there's not just one formula. I think that's the tough part. Women are complicated. Females are complex, and wonderfully so. And the more we get to know ourselves and each other, it's quite an array of all sorts of feelings and thoughts, and that's what life is about. I mean, look at nature and her wide array of complexity. We don't want to, you know, we want to simplify it to some degree, but appreciate it. Just because it's difficult or challenging doesn't mean it's not worth all the effort. So it does get easier the more you know and the more you practice. And like Bruce Lee said when I was reading about him earlier, actually, well, he didn't say this, but I love his quote about falling in love with the training. That he did say that. It's just not what I read earlier. What I read earlier, he mentioned how knowing thyself, that all knowledge is ultimately self-knowledge. And one of my other favorite quotes is that he said is to express oneself honestly. Now that, my friend, is very hard to do. And for many women, part of the block is our own selves honoring those sexual feelings, but say not just sexual. Half the times I'm having orgasm, it is because I just want to